Welcome back. This is Sunday Live, and in studio with us this evening in the company of Olive and I is the Football Kenya Federation President Hussein Mohamed to talk about the CHAN tournament. The finals will be here, Bonarais. So still discipline is of key concern, especially regarding the set regulations by the Confederation of African Football. And we're on that note where Olive had left about the question that you had posed, which was?
Yes. Is there 58.2 million coming Kenya's way from CAF, and how much of that is going to the players? So,
like I mentioned earlier, that of course we made it to the quarterfinals, so that comes with the prize money. However, you're also aware that during the competition, unfortunately, we had quite a number of incidences, and Kenya was sanctioned, and we were penalized in various ways. Amongst them, of course, was financial penalty, and also restricted number of funds to access the Harambee Stars games or whenever we played. So we have to put all that into consideration as well. That money has to come from somewhere, and I think the total fine is now just shy of 13 million shillings in terms of the penalties that we are expected to pay to CAF. We have appealed one of those cases, and we have 60 days within which to make those payments. But as well, we did official confirmation from CAF what the prize money is for quarterfinals and when that will be due to the country. But having said that, I have just enumerated the kind of bonus that the national team has gotten. And the total comes, like I said, to about 232 million, which is what maybe 4 or 5 times what the prize money is in total. But the prize money from this competition actually comes to the federation, and the federation, of course, will then, within the administration of the federation, together with my team, will prioritize what is very urgent, of course, for the federation, because the success also is all-inclusive. And as much as failure is, in some regards, we take collective responsibility. So there are certain components that we must take into account in terms of our costs, and then we will be able to make a decision based on now what is left. So these are some of the things that we will have to sit down and look at in detail. What I'm hearing you say is that the players should manage their expectations.
In essence, how much of that money goes to the players? What comes from for making to the quarterfinals?
So already the bonuses is as an effort of the federation. We have paid them 21 million in allowances so far. Okay. For the duration of time that they have been in camp, almost 21.5 million in total. If you look at some bonuses together with the allowances for the 24 players who are in camp, actually it's 27 now. And the 15 officials. So some of all the allowances have been paid with the exception of about 4 players, which we are going to sort out in the coming days. And of course, there's the bonuses from His Excellency the President, which has come. Whatever the prize money will come from CAF, it's a matter that we will discuss internally at the FKF and then see how to prioritize it.
Yeah. And Bonarais, for some time, the Football Kenya Federation, which while governing football body FIFA expects to be an autonomous entity, there often has been the relations that were on ice between the national team, the federation, and the national government. This CHAN tournament has brought all these parties together, of course, FKF under your leadership, since Nick Mwendwa, the former president. How has this contributed to what we had seen so far in terms of the effort made by the national team?
I think for us what was important at first was to stabilize the federation. You know very well when we came into office, we talked about the debt portfolio we'd inherited. And we are working tirelessly around the clock to sort this issue out. We have managed to engage FIFA. We've managed to engage the government of Kenya in a very constructive way. We have made significant progress. We finished the audit process with FIFA. I think we're in a very good position right now. We managed to agree with FIFA on also how to help us settle some of that debt portfolio. The government of Kenya has been very, very supportive through the Ministry of Sports. You've seen the close collaboration between seen Honorable Salim Vuria, Elijah Mwangi, together with also other government agencies. For the first time, the collaboration has been at its best. And that has played a significant role in how the federation has managed to manage the national team. FIFA as well is quite keen now to get FIFA Forward program going. You know very well we were under sanctions, or rather restrictions, by FIFA because of some fiscal indiscipline in the past. I think that is also behind us. We're just waiting for official communication from FIFA. We've made significant strides in terms of governance at the FKF, and all this is what is translating into this goodwill that you're seeing from all the stakeholders. So, and it's an opportune moment, of course, to thank His Excellency the President and the Ministry of Sports for the support that they've extended to us. And I'm really hopeful that this will continue into the future as we now go into the grassroots, as we go into the Kenya Premier League, as we go into the women leagues, as we go into the youth leagues, that this collaboration will even bear more fruits, and we will see significant improvement across the board.
Okay. I'm curious. The nation is having a conversation at the moment around corruption, right? So how much of a problem has corruption been in the management of football in Kenya?
Well, if you've been following the history of Kenyan football, then you must be aware of all the scandals that have been there in the past. And for us, we ran on the platform of integrity, accountability, and transparency. And even today, when you ask me about the bonuses of Harambee, I've given you the figures. We've paid they have received 232 million Kenyan shillings in bonuses and in allowances so far. So all these figures are out there for the public to see. And this is the transparency we are talking about. We are not hiding anything. So when I ran for this office, I was clear that I will be transparent, I will be accountable to Kenyans, and we will run this federation on the foundations of integrity. These are vertical pillars in our manifesto, and the underlying pillar, the horizontal pillar, will be good governance. So all these principles will be situated and structured on the fundamental governance improvements that we will be making over the coming months and years. Without those pillars, then we would not be able to achieve what we've achieved. But this is my promise to Kenyans, that for as long as I'm here, we will run this federation on those key pillars of integrity, accountability, and transparency, and improve the governance of the federation, so that we don't go back to where we were. Of course, it's also a political seat. So naturally, you expect quite a bit of politics to come along with this, and especially when you're successful. You will always find elements who will try to drag you down and pull you back. But strong leadership dictates that we stay focused, walk the journey with confidence, and involve everybody in this particular process.
Because earlier you were talking about what we got right with Chan. And for many Kenyans, there has been the sentiment that the coach, Benny McCarthy, is one thing we got right. But previously, we've seen, because of financial challenges, we've had coaches sue over non-payment. Will things be this different this time around?
Well, I want to believe that so far so good. We've not had that challenge that the previous regimes have faced in terms of payment of the coach, and I don't want to speak on his behalf. You can reach out to him. If there are any challenges, then I'm not aware of it. But we have thrived throughout his tenure so far to ensure that all dues, not only his, but the entire technical bench, are paid on time. And especially the team that he came with, who are on contract. So we intend to keep our promise. And these are some of the things that we are doing differently. The FKF has paid him on time throughout, and his team. So we have no intentions of breaking this norm, and it will continue for, like I said, for as long as I'm in office. Yeah. And when we find and if we encounter rather any challenges, then I'll be open to Kenyans. I will not wait for it to become a big crisis. And when we selected McCarthy and his team, we made a promise to him, and we made a promise to Kenyans that we will give him space to do his job. And I think Kenyans have seen the results of that. His contract runs all the way to AFCON.
So he's the man to take us to AFCON.
Yeah, and we have the confidence in the fellow. I mean, you've seen what he can do for this country. His passion, you see it on the touchline. It's unbelievable what he's brought to this team. And we pray and hope that, it continues. And we will give him and his team, the entire team, the full support of my office. Together with my executive, my NEC members, we are committed, because it is the NEC members who actually agreed to bring McCarthy to steer and to spearhead our campaign, not only for Chad but also for AFCON.
Mm-hmm. And you did mention you occupy a political office. Yeah. How are things? It's a political office. How do you manage the politics within the federation such that it does not impact the management of football?
Well, you've got to deal with it a day at a time. And for me, it's the focus. You need to be very, very focused. If you get distracted along the way, then you'll start seeing football going down, or rather deteriorating. So if you don't want to fumble, you've got to be very, very focused. At times you require to be strong enough to carry your team, to support your team, but also you require your team to support you. So it's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. You can't succeed on your own. So we are very heavily reliant on support structures within the federation and without the federation. And for me, that enables me to deal with the politics of football. And you have also third parties who are generally maybe not directly involved in football, but have a stake in relations to how the game is governed, and you've got to factor that in as well. So you've got the region, you've got CECAFA, you've got FIFA, you've got CAF. So the politics are at different levels. So you've got the international politics, you've got the regional politics, then you have the local politics. And usually in this case, the local politics is the toughest. So you've got to know how to manage it, but we hope and pray that the politics will not be a distraction to football. We have made significant gains, and we need to maintain the momentum. So it is very, very critical that we put now politics aside. Elections are over. That was in December. We are done with that. We've got now we are 8 months in. We need to deliver for Kenyans generally, and the time for politics will come. So in 2028, we will be, for those who want to seek re-election, will seek re-election. For those who want to make way for others, they will do the same. And I think that moment will come. Right now, our focus needs to be on Kenyan football, especially at the grassroots, the branches. What are we going to do there, so that we have a feeder to now the national teams moving forward. We talked about World Cup 2030. The kids are now between 12 and 15 who will play during that time. So we need to look at them as well. What are we doing with the youth football? What are we doing with women football? We need to raise the standards as we now look forward towards AFCON 2027 and beyond.
Yeah, and which brings me to the point of then certainly the tournament in 2027 AFCON is going to be big in terms of the magnitude. Certainly, Chan was just scratching the surface for us to roll on. Ideally, we have missed CAF deadlines before this tournament. There's the question of logistics and security. How will all this be a learning curve for Kenya and the federation to be, in particular, ahead of AFCON 2027?
Well, Ayub, if you noticed the first few games that we hosted during this CHAN competition, we had some challenges. But very quickly, the LOC, the Local Organizing Committee, chaired by Nicholas Musonye and myself as the vice, but also as the president of FKF, and guided by, of course, the steering committee led by the cabinet secretary, realized very quickly that we need to make some adjustments in terms of how we are organizing this event. And together with the support of CAF, and I also want to really thank the team from CAF who have been domiciled here during this tournament for their support, for the knowledge transfer, the skills transfer processes that we underwent with them. And by the time we got to our quarterfinals, most probably have noticed the significant progress that we made in how to run the tournament. And by the time we get to AFCON, I can assure you that we will have perfected this system, and we will host one of the best, not one of the best, but we will host the best AFCON that the continent has ever seen. This is an assurance I want to give you. From the experience we've gotten with CHAN, this is the best CHAN ever, and I would challenge anybody to prove me otherwise, that there has not been another CHAN competition that had the kind of hype and attendance and buzz that like the one that we are having. And I'm so excited. As much as I'm disappointed Kenya is not playing in the finals, but I'm so excited for the finals, whichever countries will make it. And I wish all the 4 teams that are remaining in the tournament all the best. But the finals will be something incredible, and AFCON will only be better. And this is an assurance I give you with the leadership that we have with this government, with my regime, and with the LOC. We will have the best AFCON in 2027. We've learned quite a lot.
Speaking of learning a lot and looking ahead at AFCON, we still have, let me see, is it the Kenya Police and Nairobi United have international games coming up? We have the CAF Champions League, we have the CAF Confederation Cup, and as I understand it, Nyayo Stadium is what has been deemed adequate for those games. How do you protect the investment into these facilities? Because that's part of the reason this CHAN was delayed, is because the infrastructure was not up to par. How do you keep it? How do you maintain it at that level?
So, infrastructure is the precinct of the government of Kenya. I think it all very well that it belongs to GOK, and they've done a tremendous job. The government has done a wonderful job in the investment they've made, and this is why it is important to really sensitize also our fans and Kenyans in general that please help us protect this infrastructure. Some of the biggest damage comes from vandalism of these facilities, so we need to be extra careful when we come to the stadiums. Protect your taxpayers' investment. It's what you have paid for, so please protect those facilities in whatever way you can. Secondly, we need to have as many competitions as possible that are lucrative not only for the teams that are participating, but also for the entire ecosystem of football, because sports is a big employer. Within that ecosystem, you have photojournalists, you have videographers, photographers, you have physicians, you have nutritionists, you have content creators, and so on and so forth. You have vendors, you have broadcast partners. So the ecosystem is quite huge, and the more we host these tournaments, the more lucrative we'll make football, and the more we make it, we help commercialize the sport. And once we do that properly, then we are able to invest in facilities. We are able to grow the infrastructure around the sport, and we should be able now to go to the grassroots and say at the ward level, what kind of infrastructure can we build there? At the sub-county level and at the county level, what category of infrastructure do we need to support that entire ecosystem of football? So these are some of the things we need to look at. Making those stadiums viable requires very good planning in terms of the leagues and competitions that we are going to be running locally, and the hosting of international competitions as well. That is the only way we can sustain some of these developments that we are making and support the infrastructure that we have invested so heavily on.
So when you see non-sporting activities take place in these facilities, for example, maybe a national event and you have the military on the pitch, or even somebody's telling me Crusades planned in these facilities, not that I have anything against them, I do not. Do you get concerned that this could cause damage?
Globally, if you look at big facilities around the world, and arenas and stadiums, they are multi-purpose facilities. They can be used for various activities. The question is, how do we manage those activities, and how do we put in measures to protect especially the turf, the playing surface? And this is the biggest challenge. How do you protect that playing surface? How do you protect the surrounding infrastructure? So you have to be very careful on what kind of activity you pick to host in those particular stadiums. Some activities are not conducive for that particular environment. Some can be done, but with very, very strict regulations. So it all depends on what activities you want to have within those facilities and how they are managed. And I think that is the key. So you could have non-sporting activities. Some places like the Wembley or the Mercedes Arena and so on have been used for concerts and other activities, but it just depends on how you manage the facility. There's special equipment that is usually put on the surface or carpets that are very specific to those events that protect the turf. So you've got to be careful with what activities you have there. My preference would be, of course, to safeguard all football facilities to be purely for football. But sometimes when you lack adequate infrastructure, sometimes you have to share with others.
And will the Premier League teams benefit from these improvements? We have Kasarani Annex A, B, Ulinzi, Nyayo, Police Sacco Stadium. Will they benefit? Actually, or will they still play in Dandora, Machakos?
Yeah, actually, Olive, this is the legacy of Chan for me. It's one of the legacy projects that is remaining with us, that infrastructure now will be adequate for our local leagues, maybe not at 100%, but significantly improved for the local leagues. And not only for the local leagues, by the way. Our neighboring countries, there are countries that actually will now be coming to Kenya to play their home games. There are some countries that have not yet met the CAF standards and FIFA standards. And now in Kenya, we have facilities that meet those standards. So I'm very excited that not only will Kenya Premier League teams benefit from the improvement in infrastructure, even our neighboring countries that are working on theirs will now have a home to come and play their international fixtures. Mm-hmm. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. Mbona Rais, let's talk about the youth program, which hasn't fully taken off since it was conceptualized and the idea conceived. How is this contributing to AFCON? Because for Benny McCarthy, he will be then making team selection from a pool that's available at the domestic level, the youth, of course, if well developed or harnessed, and those playing at the international level. Certainly, Chan was limited to only the domestic league. But ideally, how should our youth development program then inform our football philosophy and the future of it in Kenya?
Most recently, we created a department within football called the Football Development Directorate, headed by Francis Kimanzi. And also, of course, we have the youth committee. And together with the technical team at the federation, they are required to come up with a program and a structure in which we will harness the potential within the youth teams and academies. And I think it's work in progress. We also need to get enough sponsorship around this area. But significantly, we need to immediately engage with the Primary Schools Sports Association and Secondary School Sports Associations to have those competitions streamlined and ensure that they're consistent, but also that they're supported. Ayub, it's unfortunate that majority of our young players, their careers end in high school. Because after high school, what do? We've been conditioned to believe that after high school you just go to college or university and you drop your aspirations to play sports, because the infrastructure and the leagues and competitions within the tertiary education system does not support these leagues. And actually next season, I'm looking forward to launching the first university competitions or league within tertiary institutions. After high school, we want to tell the players that you can still pursue football even after your high school days. And one of the models that we want to adopt is a reward system of scholarship for key players who will play for those particular universities. We'll make it very competitive and we'll put quite a bit of investment in it as well. So this will be just one part of developing the youth structures. Yeah. Then you have the academies. Right now, we need to do a lot of work. I agree that there's still some gaps with how academies are run across the country. We need to register, we need to track, we need to trace who's doing what, and from there we can then sort of have a formula on how these kids will then be scouted and how they will be situated in specific clubs, specific competitions, and from there have a national scouting system that will be able to create a database of where all our players are. Yeah. So these are all things that we will do in good time.
Yeah, which then brings me to the management of local football. And this is where the problem has been in terms of uplifting the morale of the domestic league. And we had seen what it can produce with this CHAN tournament, which then means if there's proper management around it, that there's plenty that you can fish for in the next tournament. And AFCON is certainly going to be big in terms of its magnitude than CHAN was. But then how do you go about the challenges bedeviling the local league today?
The local league requires investment. A lot of investment, and we've already started on a good footing since we came into office. The next season is now my first season starting afresh as the president of FKF. The previous season, of course, we found it halfway, and already we've gotten a title sponsor. SportPesa has come on board. We have our broadcast partner.
Did you have a sponsor in the last tournament?
No, we didn't. Okay. In the last, we've not had a title sponsor since 2017. I think 2018, if I'm not wrong. So
sorry, why is that?
Well, everybody just left football during that period. So everybody took off. SuperSport took off. SportPesa took off. There was no sponsor. Until Azam became the broadcast partner. And now I'm bringing back the sponsors. So we have SportPesa who's back as the title sponsor. We are talking to a few other partners, potential partners, and the league will then grow once you have that investment. The league struggles also with capacity. Without resources, it's very difficult to have the right management, to have the right remuneration for players. So every team is struggling. In the Kenyan Premier League. At the NSL, it's even worse. You know, it's the most expensive league for teams that have to travel from their respective homes to play away fixtures. Very, very expensive. And the only way we can now improve is the commercialization of football and making sure that now we bring in strategic partners, we bring in resources, we bring in revenue streams that will then make them self-sustainable. In the absence of good governance, in the absence of attracting the eyeballs, in the absence of producing a good product and having a good brand, then it becomes an uphill task. So these are some of the challenges we face today, but we are working day and night to change that narrative. So in the coming months, you will see significant progress in how we package the local leagues, in how we package the competitions, in how we market them, so that we give value to all our partners. And actually I want to even take this opportunity to welcome Royal Media to actually come and partner with FKF. You saw the eyeballs, you saw the impact, you are part of the roadshow. Royal Media has benefited from this channel, and I think many other media houses. So this is an opportunity for you to come and also support the league, the Kenya Premier League, the Women's League, the youth leagues as well. Play a role. I just saw you ran a feature today about the impact of football in peace building initiatives. So football is powerful. If we join hands, we can deliver something beautiful for this country.
Because, you know, looking at CHAN, and from my personal experience of it, the appetite for football is there. You've recruited a fan in me. You
was included, yeah.
Yes, I now know Brian Omondi, I know Farouk, Shikalo, I know Alpha, and I know all these other players, Boniface, Mushiri, the list goes on.
And just a reminder
Don't test me, Ntapita Mtihani. Okay. But how do you maintain that momentum where club football is concerned to bring fans to the stadium and support our players?
Or even the finals here, because Kasarani will be staging the final.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to urge Kenyans, please, out there, Save the date, the 30th of this month for the finals. Please get your tickets early. Once we know who's in the finals, the tickets will be made available. I know we had some challenges, a lot of backlash about ticketing, but I think the issues have been fixed. Like I said, I don't think we anticipated the enthusiasm and the excitement that Kenyans had. I mean, we had been starved of good football for so many years. And now that it is here with us, you can see that the buzz is real. And I know we will feel Kasarani for the finals, regardless of who's playing. Kenyans want to see quality football. But what I need to do most importantly is beyond Chan. How do I keep you as a fan? How do we keep you engaged with Kenyan football? Like you said, now you recognize the players. It's not happened in a very long time.
I know who plays for Ulinzi. I know who
plays for Police, and who plays for Gore. And so we need to maintain that. We need the stadiums to be safe environments for families to come and enjoy football. So we need to work together very closely with the security agencies. And I want to commend the police on this one, on Chan, the commanders who have been responsible for our security at these competitions. Dr. Christian from CAF, who is the head of security, has played a significant role in making sure that that we were able to achieve the 80% threshold in the last game as well. And we will continue to do the same until the final. So the security team, hongera to all of them, to all the commanders, the stewards, I mean, the list is endless. The hospitality and guest relations team at CAF, together with ours at FKF and the LOC, they've done a marvelous job to give you that fun experience that you've seen in the last couple of games. So we need to maintain that across. Again, through the Ministry of Sports, the support that has come from them has been invaluable. But how then do we maintain that momentum and keep that together all the way to AFCON 2027? It's by making sure that we don't lose the knowledge and the skills that we've gotten within our teams, and making sure that our leagues and competitions now locally keep growing and the standards are maintained at that same level.
Will we still have the fun zones, like for the final?
So we are doing an assessment right now as we speak. Actually, tomorrow we might be making some deliberations on that with the relevant stakeholders, to just look at the impact of the finals. What does it mean in terms of numbers, in terms of ticket sales, and if we are going to maintain the fan zones, then where are they going to be exactly? I think it's a good thing to have them, personally, my opinion, because it gives Kenyans the opportunity to really enjoy the tournament, and the finals is a big thing.
Yeah.
So I would of course prefer that we maintain some of those fan zones, but it was a requirement for us in the last games because of course of the interest and the numbers of people who wanted to attend or to come to the stadium, and we couldn't accommodate all of them. And the system actually crashed because you had, I think, over 200,000 people trying to buy tickets, within a very short period of time, and that's why we had the online challenges. But we might maintain some fan zones. We need to do an assessment first and then make some deliberations on that.
Get a sense of the interest.
Yeah, of the interest, and then we can then communicate that to the general public.
Yes. Yeah. Bwana Rais, we have to sample the feedback. This is a question from our sports editor, Isaac Swiller. He says, ask the president about an application filed by former Nairobi County Governor Mike Sonko over the conduct of the referee in Kenya versus Madagascar game, where he is seeking many reliefs, including that the decision to disallow the 2 goals scored by Kenya in the game between Kenya and Madagascar be suspended pending the hearing and determination of application that he made. Does it hold any water?
I'm not aware of that particular...
there is an application.
That application, I'm not aware of it. I'm hearing it for the first time from you. I'll be honest. So I don't know, I might not have any comments on it. But to speak of the game itself, I think it's important for Kenyans to know that the referee's decision is final. And once the final whistle is blown, then that decision stands.
So the only appeal mechanism?
For results of a game, you can't appeal unless there's very clear evidence on inappropriate sort of conduct from a referee either direct match fixing allegations or something very, very gross and with very hard evidence, then probably in that regard there could be some kind of a review and a case on the same. But otherwise, final results stand. There's no mechanism to appeal a game like this one. So those results stand. So there's no a matter of FKF appealing. There
are no reliefs that can be gotten.
No.
All right, let's take a look at
let's see what's
other
coming
feedback.
Up. Yeah. This is from Ibrahim Tiga. He says, congratulations on Kenya managing to reach the quarters of the CHAN 2024. Now that Kenya is preparing to host AFCON 2027, which is bigger than CHAN, is Kenya going to be ready? One. In the event that Kenya will not be ready to host AFCON 2027, what may be the consequences?
You know, Ayub, let's remind Kenyans that we tried to host AFCON in 1996. Yeah. We didn't make it. We tried in 2018 to host CHAN. We didn't make it. Then we tried 2022. We tried now in 2025, and we did it. And some, not many, but some people felt that we might not be ready for CHAN, and we did it. And it has been one of the most spectacular tournaments yet. So for AFCON 2027, let me assure Kenyans that we will be ready. Yeah. I have seen the commitment that His Excellency the President has given into this initiative. You've seen the amount of resources and the investment that has gone into Talanta Stadium and other facilities across the country over the last 2 years. So I have no doubt in my mind that Kenya will be ready for AFCON 2027, and not just be ready, that it will host the best AFCON in the history of the competition.
All right, this is Jay Wambua. Please ask the FKF president if he has concerns about the state of the pitch at Kasarani. Can this be fixed before the CHAN final?
Yeah, I've had the concerns. We've had lengthy discussions also with the CAF on the same. Everything is being done. We've got experts who've come to look at the pitch, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that it will be in good condition for the finals. The finals are at Kasarani, so everything is being done round the clock to ensure that the pitch will be ready.
Evans from Meru County says, is it true that Kenya is appealing the quarterfinal result and especially the decisions which had our goal disallowed? It was clear goal in my opinion. You had responded to that.
Evans anasema kilibiwo.
Yeah. Anonymous says, good evening, I am a girl from Nairobi. My question is, how can I join the Harambee Starlets under 17 team? Are there usually open trials?
So we have the coaches who do the scouting for the youth teams through various competitions. We just need to broaden that space a little bit and have very deliberate programs and campaigns around trials. It has not happened in the past, but it is something we're going to fix, because I want to have a program that Kenyans will be aware of right from the start and know when to go for trials and where to go for those trials.
All right, this is Freddie Matiba. Transparency and accountability have been big issues in FKF. What systems are you putting in place to ensure financial accountability and avoid corruption scandals? I see this is one of three. He continues, stadium. Okay, let's answer that first, the accountability question. Yeah,
so what we've done is, the first thing we did is we appointed a very credible audit firm to be, our auditors, and that is PKF, which is a departure from the past. This is one of the big four, so that's a very big statement on the part of the federation that we are going with some of the most credible auditors that are known globally, not only locally, but a big global firm. So the second thing, of course, is that we are open to such discussions, such platforms, to articulate what our position is on various matters and to provide information where and when needed. So these are just some of the things we put in place. We've done an induction program for the National Executive Committee by FIFA. twice, not only once but twice. We are going to have other programs as well for the whole of Congress to inculcate the culture of good governance, accountability and transparency. So this is part of the capacity building programs that we have done and we are continuing to do at the Federation.
Okay. You want to take this one, are you?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stadiums remain a big challenge in Kenya. What is FKF doing in partnership with the government or private sector to improve football infrastructure across the country? Are there any private sector, has there been any private sector involvement?
So far, not that I'm aware of, but there's a lot of interest, especially now with the current excitement that is going on in football. We want to urge private sector to come on board. There's a lot of opportunities around development of infrastructure, and we're not talking big white elephant projects. You know, you can even do a 2,000-seater in a community. That can go a long way in managing the leagues within that community. You can do the 7-a-side pitches. You can do the basic changing room and a pitch with a perimeter wall at the ward level, you know, and you have a branding opportunity around it for companies that want to invest in infrastructure. So there's a massive opportunities. I want to bring 5 partners on the table. I want to get the national government. I want to get the county governments. I want to get private sector. I want to get FIFA, and I want to get development partners, the NGOs of this world, to actually talk about infrastructure development across the country that will engage hundreds of thousands of young people constructively every weekend whenever they are playing football. But I can't do it on my own. Infrastructure is not the preserve of FKF. It requires all these partners to sit together and say, what can we do? If we have a plan, a master plan, for example, of doing 200 and something facilities across the country, who will take what responsibility at what point, and who can then help us sustain that program over the years. And I think we need that master plan in place so that we know at ward level what kind of facilities we'll have there, at sub-county level, and then at county level and at the national level, what kind of facilities we will have to develop so we can sustain and we can continue to develop football holistically.
All right. Okay, finally, what is his this is still Freddie.
Yes, yeah.
What is his long-term vision for making Kenya competitive on the global stage, World Cup qualification, professionalizing the league, exporting players abroad, etc.?
Well, I think for our long term is to really commercialize the sport here in Kenya, make it self-sustaining. I don't know why we consider playing abroad to be sort of the pinnacle of our sport.
Big bucks.
It is, but we can have those big bucks here. You've seen our Harambee stars in the last 1 month. I think on average they have earned 5.5 million from this competition in cash. And that is from the interest of the competition. If we had a very good league supported by good infrastructure, imagine what players would make every weekend. If we filled Kasarani every weekend, imagine the revenue streams that the football players would be making. Imagine if we filled Nyayo every weekend. We filled Ulinzi every weekend. We filled Police Sacco every weekend. We filled Bukungu every weekend. You know, imagine that situation.
So you're saying there's money.
There's a lot of money in the local leagues. I'll give you an example of some African countries in the north or in the west. These players in the northern part of the continent, majority play in the domestic leagues. A stadium has 80,000 capacity that fills every weekend. It is as lucrative as playing, you know, in Europe. So we need to believe in ourselves and say that we can also retain. Only less than 1% of players make it into the big leagues in Europe. What happens to your 99.5% of the players here locally? How do you ensure that they can also make a livelihood out of football by playing in the local domestic competitions? And how do we attract other players from the region and from abroad to also come and play in Kenya? It's by making it lucrative. So the vision is to really commercialize the sport, enhance the revenue streams that are coming into football, work with development partners and all other partners to develop the infrastructure, and good governance will get there. With good governance, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Okay, please ask Mr. Mohammed. There is this issue of godfathers of football in Kenya forcing the national team coaches to take their desired players to the national team. By all means, which the current coach, McCarthy, allegedly refused. How true?
I'm not aware of anybody trying to push this agenda. I have made it public. I've made it both public and in private, my comments on our policy and our position that there is zero interference with the national team. I challenge anybody to contradict it. We have been true to our word. My administration knows very well that we will not tolerate anybody who will try to interfere with the national team. And that is simply because we have to ensure we have to hold somebody to account. So the performance of the coach is based on his independence and he selects players on merit. So I'm not aware of anybody trying to force a player anyway.
All right, this is E. Moirongo, who says, ask Presda, what is the logic of having half of the national team from one club when KPL consists of about 18?
I think it's related to the previous question in terms of the selection of players. That is the preserve of the technical bench. So it's not even me. It's not up to me. I don't select players. I don't influence it in any way. I don't participate in the process. Nor do my executive members of the committee, of my executive committee. They don't participate. This is the selection of players is purely a preserve of the coach.
Thank you. Sekwepo says, what plans does the Federation have to invest in capacity building and professional development for local coaches and technical staff? That's 1, 2. How is FKF ensuring women's football is given equal attention in terms of investment, development and visibility? And what long-term vision does FKF have for Harambee Stars and the Harambee Starlets to achieve continental successes?
So the first question was?
On coaches, development of capacity building. I think for the first time, my administration has held training across the country. We've started, of course, doing it across the country. Even as far as Marsabit, I think they've had a very, very good training for referees, and we're doing also for coaches in Wajir as well. We did a very elaborate program in Eldoret the other day, and that will continue. So I want to do it across the country in all the 48 branches of FKF. We are going to invest heavily in capacity building, not only here but also abroad. I want to embed our personnel in big competitions as well, such as AFCON that is coming up in Morocco in December of this year and January of this year. We want to get some of them also to go to FIFA. To understand how the World Cup is organized and to see how they can learn from such big competitions. But in terms of capacity building for referees and coaches, this will be a continuous program. We have to churn out enough coaches for schools, enough coaches for primary schools, for high school, for universities. We have to have coaches for youth leagues. We have to have coaches for women, football, and so on. So this is a continuous process.
So to build the game from the grassroots. From
the grassroots, and it will be a continuous program. So there's no start or stop to it. It's just it'll be continuous program of churning out talent.
Okay.
Women's football.
Yes.
Women's football, I think, to us and to me particularly. And at the Federation, we are going to put a lot of emphasis that you're going to see this year what we are going to do. For the first time, women football got a sponsor in the FKF Cup, Women's Cup, through Bet Power. And we are in negotiations with another sponsor to come on board and support the WPL, the Women Premier League. I'm also looking at bringing a few other stakeholders on board who will enhance the league, but also invest also in Harambee Starlets. The only way we can ensure that they continue performing, and women have performed very well. Yeah. If you look at all the competitions, under 17 World Cup,
yes.
If you look at their performance at the Women Premier League, Police, Bullets, and so on, they are very committed. So we just need to get a little bit more support going their way. We are hosting, I don't know if you know, next month we'll be hosting the Champions League qualifiers with Sekafa here in Nairobi.
Yeah,
we've
Michael,
just signed the host agreement.
That.
Yes,
yeah.
So that's coming, and it's a big step for women football. Through, of course, our women representative at the Exco, we are going to do significant work in terms of uplifting women football.
Thank you. So this is
comments?
from Obala Clinton, a journalist, football journalist from Migori County. Says, congratulations to Team Fresh, headed by Hussein Mohammed. This is a true step towards the transformation of football in Kenya. Great national team selection, great national team balance for the first time. Just mix the uprising stars with local and international football players, then we are good to go. Congratulations for the great steps so far. We appreciate the motivation by the political class headed by President William Ruto.
All right, now we have Salman from Garissa County. Congrats to the current president of FKF. Football in northern Kenya has grown massively. We now have well-organized leagues, youth development, referee and coach trainings, and even more exposure for our players. The progress compared to past administrations is clear for all to see.
Chairman Kwale Hamisi says we have confidence in Hussein Mohammed's leadership, particularly because of the progress he has achieved at the Federation in the short time he has been in office.
And in fact, on that one, for Kwale, for the first time we've had a beach football tournament sponsored by Kentist that is currently ongoing, and I think the finals is in 2 weeks. We've never had such a big beach football tournament before, so it was the first for us in Kwale.
I didn't even know there is beach football.
There is beach football, and it's very beautiful.
So now in 2 weeks it will be done. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Pongezi to FKE, Harambee Stars technical team and the entire team, plus the Ministry of Sports, let them up the preparation towards AFCON 2027.
Bwana Rais, we are done. This is a very pertinent question. In under 30 seconds. Steve Shitera is a sports enthusiast. And the unfortunate thing is that he supports a team from west of London called Chelsea. He says, what's your relationship with your deputy?
I think we have a good relation so far, and he's got his responsibilities as a deputy. I've got my responsibilities as the president of FKF, and so does every other member of NEC. The constitution of FKF, the statutes of FKF are very clear on what the role of each member is, and everybody is doing their job. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any particular issues.
So we don't have a Ruto Rigiji type situation?
No, well, and you see, if there is that kind of situation, of course, naturally, the other person to respond to it will be the vice president, isn't it? On such a matter. So I cannot speak for both of us. I'll speak for myself, and then he can speak for himself.
All right.
Appreciate it. Yes, Olive.
Tunaenda break. But we will release our president here because I'm sure it's been a long day. Thank you so much, President of the Football Kenya Federation, Hussein Mohammed, and thank you for taking the time to answer our questions and our viewers' questions. We couldn't get to everything, but we did do our best. So we look forward to hosting you again and engaging you further. For now, we take a break, but Citizen Planet for all the aficionados is coming up next. Coming up.